Are the BBC taking the piss? Why do they insist on presenting us with clear cases of illegal economic migrants to try and play at our heartstrings?
When you are there, you are so desperate. You are risking your life. You know it's dangerous. You know you might die. But you want to gamble. Because you have no other option. It is scary. I cannot swim, and I thought maybe I will die. But did I have another option to make it here? No, wasn't a safe route for me. The only for me to claim asylum was crossing the channel.
You did have other options.
No.
You could have. You had asylum in Greece.
I had asylum in Greece, but as I mentioned, nobody wants to live in a tent.
Sure. How much did you pay the smugglers?
I paid €3,000.
Right.
I mean, is this piece supposed to elicit sympathy for this man? Because, frankly, I think it fails to do that. And the BBC could have found anyone to make this case against the government's Rwanda plan, which they oppose with absolute vehemence. This man says, I had asylum in Greece, but as I mentioned, nobody wants to live in a tent. So here he is for our hospitality, your handouts, an economic migrant, in other words. He could equally have claimed asylum in any number of countries on the way here. There are quite a few of them in Europe. Maybe you go on holiday to them sometimes. But they don't have our welcoming committees roll out the Union Jack doormat, allow them in. So he was perfectly safe in Greece, but was willing to risk his life for the prospect of more free stuff in Britain. I mean, did the BBC think to ask him what was so intolerable about life in the rest of Europe? I didn't think so. It doesn't fit the agenda. He does not have a moral right to come here just because he wants to. This is our home. If someone in difficulty has a right to enter another person's home, their property, then someone on the streets should be allowed to invite themselves into your home. That clearly is not a sustainable social contract. And this comes weeks after it was revealed that a Syrian refugee who was in a fawning BBC documentary about the plight of asylum seekers was convicted of raping a 13-year-old girl 7 times, that's 7 times, in Newcastle, a place very close to my heart. And the BBC were the chief propagandists for this individual. The arrogance of our invaders, the entitlement of them, and the arrogance of the BBC and the entitlement of them. If anything, I think the BBC strengthen our argument for robust border protection. They don't weaken it. The sooner we're free not to pay for them, the better. And actually, the invaders